This is the weirdest Mario game. And I'm not just talking about one or two things, no. This whole game is bizarre. The story, the setting, the characters, even Mario's controls are downright outrageous. When I first played this game as a jit, honestly, the absurdity of this game never really hit me. But coming back to this game as a big-year-old, I realized that this doesn't even feel like a Mario game. So I had to fly back to Isle Delfino and find out just how weird this game really was. And the more I looked into it, the stranger this game became. We landed on Isle Delfino where we were supposed to land safely, but on the runway, someone appeared to be a little too excited for our arrival. We walk around the strip and stumble upon this unusual machinery that scans us and docks our location and personal information. And suddenly, out of the sludge, a giant piranha-like monster emerges, to where we extinguish it and collect our first Sprite Star. And right after we clean up this mess, Mario is immediately confronted by, I'm assuming, the local fruit shop owners, and Mario is thrown in jail? Okay, what the freak kind of Mario game is this? This is by far the weirdest introduction to a Mario game, as we don't really get the usual, oh, stole my girl, now I gotta go get her. No, we are put in jail. Honestly, I thought Mario would have been put in jail for something else entirely, but hey, here we are. But apparently the citizens of Isle Delfino mistake Mario for the paintbrushing LARPer of him that has run rampant and been vandalizing the entire island of his goop juice, and sentence him to community service until we clean up every single drop. Now again, this is a very different direction that they decide to go with the Mario series, making the story more driven towards cleaning up the island and restoring it to its peace, rather than just straight up fighting Bowser. And honestly, I mean, hey, it's something different this time. It gives more to Mario's character instead of his main goal always being to save this girl that's been friend-zoning him since 1980. I mean, Nintendo, y'all did him dirty. And gives my boy a bigger purpose that is restoring the island of the Delfino citizens, and it puts Mario in a new light. But now we are taken out of the slammer and now tasked to clean up this island and to find out the perpetrator who is responsible for this mess he made. And we're granted with free access to roam Isle Delfino as much as we please. After roaming Isle Delfino for a bit, we see how vastly different it is compared to many of the various usual titles, shifting into this tropical setting with sunny beaches where this doesn't feel like any Mario world that we've ever been to. No blocks, no power-ups, no Goombas, just an entire different environment free for us to roam. And this game is perfect for its map immersion because, as I said before, this does not feel like a Mario game. Honestly, if you just replaced a few of the characters, then this could just be an entire new game. Also, this is the first storyline game where the entire game the characters have voice lines. Like, it was so random to finally open up a Mario game and then have the characters just randomly speak out of nowhere. In fact, it's the only game where the characters are speaking like this from start to end. Because after Sunshine, Nintendo was like, yeah, we're not doing this again, wrap it up. But the weirdest thing is that everyone talks in this game but Mario. All the main characters will talk, but Mario never gets one full line. Just a few grunts, noises, and farts over here. After catching up with my gang, suddenly the ground shakes, revealing the LARPer himself, Shadow Mario. Kidnaps the princess and gets us going on a wild goose chase. But after catching up with him, he flees using the paintbrush to teleport to another world. And you already know, I'm diving in.
Pause! What is that?
But now we enter one of the many different island locations filled with missions, new enemies, and Sprite Stars to collect. Starting with Bianco Hills. When we're put into the first world, we're introduced to all the new gaming mechanics and movements, and boy oh boy, this game probably has the most alien and the most hated movements out of any Mario game. Unlike the mechanics that we got in the last game, like the long jump or even just slowly building up momentum when you're running, you're given different movements as a result of the new game mechanic, the FLUDD. The first feature of the FLUDD is the default squirt mode, which is your primary projectile attack if you're not fighting anything below you. used for spraying graffiti, enemies, and cleaning up whoever made that mess. And then you got different nozzles, primarily used for Mario's agility, and I'm gonna go over this real quick, right? The hover nozzle allows Mario to hover in mid-air while dealing damage to anything below him. The rocket nozzle, a charge-up that propels Mario very high in the air for ground pound damage. The turbo nozzle makes Mario move like he's... Alright, you got that? Good. So the FLUDD is basically the highlight of the game, where every objective, mission, and enemy revolves around it. No power-ups, just a water jet. As we traverse through all the goop, at the end of the course awaits the boss of each world that we must take down. With our first boss being Petey the Piranha Plant. This fight is pretty straightforward, as all we gotta do is, and thus we have finished Bianco Hills. Oh yeah, this game is pretty much similar to 64, where you could just pick each world and just do different missions within them. Like you can collect coins, or you could do a mission that cleans the island, with the player having to play 7 missions of each world minimum just to beat the game. And the dreaded secret level that was never supposed to be in the game. That we'll talk about later. But once we're done with Bianco Hills, we are ready to move to Rico Harbor. And man, I absolutely love the level design of this area. This level is like a platforming playground and is not even the best map of the entire game. After collecting a few coins and surfing a few squids, I think it's time that we round up the big one. And this game is so different not just because of its gaming mechanics, but also because of its story and its world building. We enter Gelato Beach, where we're immersed in this absolute beauty of a map. With sunny skies and sandy beaches, and these weird bird things that fling you up in the air. Gosh, I hate these things. And I just gotta say, this game has some of the weirdest looking enemies. I mean, some of these enemies don't even resemble the past enemies that we fought in previous games. Nintendo just made some bullcrap and called it a day. But honestly, I could say the same about the last game, because some of those enemies were just as weird and scary. Like that creepy jump scare piano in 64. Like, what were they thinking? Even the bosses were weird in this game. Like this one called the Phantom Manta Ray, that's just a straight up translucent manatee. Nah, but the boss is fire. The boss is fire. But after clearing up the caterpillar in Gelato Beach and grabbing a quick bite to eat, we get an alert that the princess has been kidnapped again. Just to find out that it's yet again the LARPer.
You need to leave!
Fleeing to Peanut Park for us to follow, where we enter a cool amusement park beach location for us to explore. But the game gives us no time to explore, as we must track down the perpetrator and bring him to justice.
Any more bullets! Any more bullets! Any more bullets! Any more bullets!
Once we beat this Mecha Bowser, the Shadow Mario finally reveals to be Bowser's son. Yeah, this is the first time Bowser Jr. appears in a game, so it's quite surprised. Who's the mother? I don't know. The battle leads to nowhere as they flee off to Corona. We have now unlocked Serena Beach and stumble into this resort-like place home of the Grand Hotel, where the resort is fully submerged under electric goop. And this goop really adds to the environmental storytelling so well, as it makes the entire island and its citizens to be in complete disarray. It's not just a gameplay feature or a visual effect for the player to spray on, but actually displays how the goop is impacting the environment and the locals of this game, which enriches the story of Mario turning into their savior and restoring the island, which is something we don't really get to see a lot in Mario games. But after beating the Phantom Manta Ray, the hotel will reveal itself rising up from the sludge. And it's haunted by a bunch of boos roaming around. And after being not only the cleanup crew, but also the Ghostbusters, we are granted access to the secret casino within the hotel. A grand casino with flashy lights, big machines and all. Where we can play some slots, collect coins, and also play the roulette wheel, which will unlock the boss to King Boo? Yeah, King Boo's also in this game too, but he looks zooted as freak. After he lost the mansion, bro just lost it. But honestly, I love the addition of him in the game and how they wackily designed his character. It's cool that they had to create a new design for this character that would be fitting for Super Mario Sunshine's vibe, and I just think
it's radical! Radical!
But after collecting the minimum required shine sprites, we finally clear Serena Beach and restore it to its beautiful core. Now, I've been talking about this game like it's the hottest game on the block, but I want to talk about how this game absolutely pops. Now, throughout these levels, there's a pretty important part of the game which I've saved until now. The secret levels. Now, I don't know why it's called the secret levels, as you have to beat these levels in order to progress through the game on each map location. But during these levels, your FLUDD is taken away, leaving you with the lone movements of Mario to platform through each level. And I don't know if it's just me and I'm just horrible at platforming, but these levels without FLUDD were dummy hard. I can't tell you the amount of times that I failed on these levels just because of how awkward Mario's movements were. Even as an adult, most people would have trouble with these levels that were made for kids. FLUDD was our main tool and got us pretty much everywhere to go around. So taking away our main way of movement and on top of that giving us even harder platform made the secret levels absolute madness, as it would take way too long just to beat a level that would take 40 seconds max if we just got decent Mario movement. Another one of my complaints is with FLUDD itself. While I enjoy the concept of FLUDD and think it's really interesting, I think it takes away too much for this to be considered a Mario platforming game. Like at some points, FLUDD just became a handicap for people that could not platform. And if you suck at platforming, why are you playing a Mario game, Goofy? Go play Kirby or something, you got unlimited flight. And also I like the nozzles because they're very fun to use, but honestly, the game doesn't really give you too many opportunities to use them. You only need the rocket nozzle like 3 times near the end of the game. And my favorite nozzle, the turbo nozzle, is never really needed to beat the game unless you just want an extra star sprite. What also didn't make sense about this game was the imbalance in difficulty, because yes, while FLUDD does help you a lot in the game, some of the levels are just straight up unforgiving, as this game has no checkpoints for a Mario game. And a simple mistake like running out of water for a jump or getting hit once by an enemy will just send you flying off stage just to do it all over again. So while the level designs are visually beautiful in this game, you would slowly start learning to absolutely hate it. But yeah, the inconsistency in this game is just crazy, because in one level you'll just be Bing Chilling on your hover nozzle just collecting coins, and then boom, you're stuck on a Plinko machine for 50 minutes. And that leads to another problem I have with this game, which are the missions. Now for the most part, these levels were pretty fun and interactive for the player, but some of these levels were definitely not fun. And it's because, again, these were too hard for a kid's game. I'm not that bad at video games, okay? I promise. Look at me. I am an OG gamer, alright? But when you make me ride on some stupid sandbird for like 2 hours to complete the mission, or you make me roll down a watermelon that's made of a Dollar Tree water balloon, or you make me ride down a lily pad where I have the pressure of a faucet where I gotta repeat the mission 100 times. Sorry, that was uncalled for, alright? But the level design of these wasn't just a skill issue, but just was unnecessarily tedious or just horribly designed, to where you can barely get through half of these levels without biting your fingers off. I could also talk about the blue coins, but honestly, I think this is just Nintendo not caring about adding good content. But it wouldn't matter because I would never try to 100% this poopy game. But as we progress through the game, we now enter our third to last location on the map, Noki Bay. And man, visually, this gotta be my favorite location out of Isle Delfino. I mean, the platforming buns, but at least the buns is beautiful, you know? I really wish more of the maps dove into this type of wild side of Mario instead of most of them just taking place on the beach. And honestly, this map feels the most alive and most interactive. Instead of exploring areas inhabited mostly by the locals of Isle Delfino, it felt refreshing to finally explore an area with not as many buildings or man-made objects present. But after taking down the monster enemy eel and completing another grueling secret level, we can finally move on to Pianta Village, the home of the Piantas. After observing this new map, we can clearly see how this island comes together with all of its various locations. And I think this game just sticks out so much amongst the rest of the Mario games because of its world building. Unlike many other Mario games where the environment and the biome is constantly changing, this game sticks to that island tropical feeling, which I'm pretty sure we're on an island. But the last two stages really gives depth to the game's environment, expanding upon that tropical island feel while still making it interesting. Unlike every other game where it's grass, then snow, then desert, this game is pushed in its creative limit to make the most out of the tropical island theme, but to some it may be boring, but to me I think it makes the game feel more immersive in its world, as if I'm actually exploring an island with different locations. The setting of Isle Delfino also feels very fitting towards the story and the narrative, as you have places like Rico Harbor for all the shipments, or the Hotel Casino in Sereno Beach for the tourist spot, or even here in Pianta Village, home for all the locals that are just far away from everything else. It makes Isle Delfino feel like a real island inhabited by people. Also, a cool thing is even if you're playing on a specific part of the map, in the back you can see other locations like the giant Ferris wheel in Pina Park, all the way from Gelato Beach, or the view of Rico Harbor from the giant wall in Bianco Hills. And I just love that extra detail that makes Isle Delfino feel more immersive. Once we clear Pianta from all the flames and we collect a minimum of 50, count 50 shine sprites, we can head home but encounter nobody else other than the LARPer. That leads us into the final area of Mount Corona, where we make our way through this volcano and ascend to the top to face the LARPer and his father. This is a weird boss fight, as Bowser's lazy eye couldn't even bother to get out of the hot tub for this. And for a final boss, this is very anticlimactic and very freaking easy. But you know what, at least it's on theme with the lazy summer vibe that this game is going on. As in this game, Bowser is as sweet as cherry pie. And so is this boss fight, as it takes 1 minute max to beat. Bro, you're gonna be alright, okay? Just breathe, bro.
Daddy, did I do good?
Did a good job. I love you. And well, this game is most definitely a game. While I wasn't the biggest fan when I first played this game, it always sticks out to me as this game was trying to be like a half platformer, half power washer simulator game. And while far from perfect, this game still stays near and dear to my heart. I think this game has my favorite game environments out of any 3D Mario game, except Odyssey. And instead of doing the same repeat cycles of different biomes, it decided to do something different. And while the new implementation of FLUDD was not the most efficient, it was something that you could not find in any other Mario game, and it made the game feel more special. Also, I'm not counting Cappy because that game basically had like 50 different powers, like come on. But even with flaws and all, I would be an absolute liar if I said that this game wasn't dope and an absolute no. I appreciate this game trying to push towards different theming and level design, and because of it, this game stays one of my most memorable. And honestly, with its difficulties, it taught me how to actually get decent at playing harder games. And this game has so much charm in its music, theme, and design that I just can't get enough of. And while Sunshine is a chaotic mess sometimes and is far from perfect, and Sunshine, while with a large divide in its players on whether or not they hate it, to me it's one of my favorite 3D Mario games and one of my most fond memories from my childhood.